Now then, it's Burnsy, and welcome to our regular Curiosity podcast, the CuriosityCast. Every episode, we take questions asked by members of the public in Hull and try to get them the best answers from the very best brains in the city. Not all questions are about Hull. They can be about whatever you want to discover, so do get in touch with us. This episode, it's a welcome return for the Supremo of the Sesh, Mac Page. You may well have heard by now that the Humber Street Sesh will take place this year on Saturday the 1st of August. Hallelujah, say I. It'll be the usual wonderful mix of the best local and national music and sunshine and great food and booze, and try not to fall in the river. It's been no secret that finances have been tight with the festival recently, and no doubt we'll touch on that. But the team have managed to pull it together once again, and so we'll find out what delights await and how you can best support this festival in the future. It is my favourite day of the year, actually, in Hull. Welcome to you, Mac. Nice to see you. Is it a few moment that you've managed to make it happen?
Yeah.
Because it was touch and go.
Yeah, good day to you all. No, it was touch and go. It was touch and go for a good 6 months, and I basically dropped the microphone after the festival last year because it got to the point where it was untenable. Without any funding, it was very hard to see a future for it. But dropping the mic as I did, in retrospect, it was probably a good thing. I needed a break from it. So to have 6 months off, it was quite a relief, because it's been quite intense over the last 13 years of putting this festival on. It is a 365, 24/7 event that I'm constantly thinking about. So to have 6 months off was great. It gave us a chance to collect our thoughts. We looked at our business model. We changed the business model from a limited company to a CIC with the hope that we could access some funding. We tried that in January, February this year. We did around about 6 different bids to different arts organisations, etc. And unfortunately, we were unsuccessful with all those bids. So yes, we have become a community interest company where all profits of the festival go back into the community, and that rings true now. But the only way we've managed to sort of pull this off for this year is to look at the ticket pricing, look at the site itself, reach out to more people in the business community for support, and keep looking at funding. And that's where we're at today.
Because it should be said that you do pay everybody properly, don't you?
Oh,
the bands,
course,
and everybody.
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah, it's very
Nobody
important.
does anything for free. They all get paid.
Well, there are volunteers.
Sure,
There are some volunteers. So, thankfully we have the VA volunteers and the blue jackets that come down and just make sure everyone's safe on the day, and give them an idea of what's going on, a flavour of the festival, so to speak. But then we have a small group of volunteers that help us with getting gear to stages, taking bands to where they need to be on the day, and we're very grateful for them. But overall, everyone does get paid, and apart from the directors, yeah. So hopefully that can be changed this year. We'll see. Because it is untenable. If there's no wages for a year's work, I can't see how we can keep doing this year on year. Yeah. But if there are wages there, then hopefully we can continue for years to come.
I hope so. Everyone loves it, don't they? Everyone who goes loves it. And the ones who don't go, I think, wish they had gone. So it's just a case of getting on it and getting your ticket, isn't it?
I think it's just a great day in the event calendar of the city. I mean, it brings everyone together down on the marina. If we get good weather, it's even better. There's a cacophony of sounds with 100+ bands across 10 different stages. There's loads of family elements such as silent disco. We're bringing in new elements this year like hip-hop karaoke. You guys at Curiosity are coming down and doing a wellness area, which I'm sure we'll talk about. No, there's a lot going on down there, and I just think it brings out the best in everyone. It showcases what we are as a city when we come together. And I've always said if we work hard together, we can play hard together. Yeah. And that's what we do with Humber Street Sesh.
We're doing a wellness area. We're a picture of wellness, us two, aren't we? It must be a different sort of wellness then.
Well, Mac and David and Lisa and everybody have kindly given us an area of the festival. So we're going to have the Curiosity Corner. We're going to put the thought bubble up and do some different classes. We haven't formulated it exactly yet, but we're thinking big chessboard. People can learn how to play chess, a bit of yoga, a bit of painting or drawing or something like that. Different disciplines, just so that it's And what gave us the idea was last year you had the Lindy Hop group going around, didn't you? Doing
Fantastic.
the Lindy
They'll
Hop,
be
and I
back again
loved
this
it.
year, hopefully.
Which it's got nothing to do with indie music or anything else. But every time I happened upon them around the festival, I stood and watched it for 10 minutes. It was great. So it was kind of like the festival is open, which is lovely, to it being more than just about music, which is, it just brings a different element to it, hopefully.
And touching on like the indie sort of theme, I mean, the festival, we like to try and represent all genres at the festival, so there will be a rock stage again this year, which we're excited about. But there'll be also like the Residents Association sort of block party where they have like 20, 30 DJs that regularly play at the legendary Adelphi through the year. But all genres will be represented, from soul to funk to hip hop to reggae to jungle to drum and bass to house to techno. Yeah, so I mean, there's a flavour for everyone.
Just mentioning the Adelphi, I'm jumping ahead in the questions here, but this from Darren on Branzo. Are there any plans to honour Jacko at the festival this year?
100%. It'd be rude of us not to pay tribute to that man. Of course, I mean, I was at the funeral the other week. It was a gathering of a very sweet and beautiful community that paid tribute to that man. And I think as a flagship music event in the city, yeah, we most definitely should. And I've reached out to the Adelphi board and they've given us their backing as well. So plans are afoot to mark the passing of this legendary man who's given so much to the city.
I think a huge inflatable Jacko at the marina would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Floating down the Humber.
Oh, that would be brilliant. A huge Jacko with one of his cigarillos and Yozza at his feet.
Because the Sesh was one of the things that actually got him out the Adelphi. He used to turn up. I can remember seeing him at the Sesh thinking, oh, blimey, Jacko's out the Adelphi.
It was the first time. I'd known Jacko 25 years. When I saw him once at Session, it was the first time I'd ever seen him in daylight.
Wow.
I'd only ever seen him in the Adelphi.
No,
and he looks a different man in daylight.
He was lovely and like really supportive of what we were doing. I think in the early years when I set up the weekly Sesh night at the Linnet and Lark on Prinny Ave, I was a bit concerned that I might be stepping on toes here, like, providing this platform, a weekly platform for young emerging bands. But it was at a time when I felt that Adelphi, even though it's always been accessible to all musicians, from the city and beyond, but at that time I didn't feel that some of the sort of bands breaking through at the moment were getting that many opportunities. I saw that Adelphi was bringing in some weird and wonderful, acts to that venue, and I had friends that were in bands, and the landlord at the time was encouraging me to go down the tribute route, and I was determined not to go down that route, and I knew these original bands. So I set that night up, and I think at the start there was probably around about eight original bands that were on a rotation for the first couple of months, and then after a couple of months the community started building, and before you knew it we had like 20 original bands, then 40, and then roll on 25 years this year, roll on, we've had over 3,000 acts play the Sesh. But Jacko was always supportive, and the first time, I've got to tell you this, the first time I ever met him, it's a lovely story. I was DJing at Adelphi for a 21st birthday party, and it was in the days of carrying the big flight cases with vinyl. And at the end of the night, I said my byes to everyone. Thanks, great gig. First ever gig at Adelphi. It was legendary for me. And I went outside. I'd phoned a taxi before the night to come and pick me up, and it was the days before mobile phones. So I'm stood outside Adelphi in the car park. Everyone had left. Jacko had gone to bed, and it was probably about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was torrential, and my taxi never showed up. But I had no access to a phone because I had no mobile, but I had these 2 massive flight cases of records, so I couldn't move. I either leave them and walk to a taxi rank or something, so I just stood there for about 2 hours outside Adelphi, and around about 2:30 in the morning, I saw this figure, and it was Jacko. He'd come downstairs and go, "What are you still doing here?" I went, "Oh, my taxi hadn't turned up." Never really met him before. And he went, "Come on, I'll get the car. Where do you live?" And I went, "Well, I'm out in Beverley." So he drove me back to Beverley, and I had a lovely conversation in the car with him, talking about the Sesh and everything. And he was so supportive. And I just think it was lovely that he got out of bed at 2:30 to take a complete stranger back to Beverley.
Yeah.
Just to get me home and safe and sound.
Yeah.
It's the measure of the man. What a great guy he was.
He was, yeah. And there would have been no rivalry, there would have been no competition from Sesh, because a city the size of Hull should be able to support two or three or four small venues. So, and Jacko knows that. There's only so much bandwidth in his place, literal bandwidth, for enough acts on. We should be able to support
And it's always been our intention to try and bring the various venues and promoters into the festival, try and get them more involved. So hopefully this could be like a breaking point. Adelphi's always been at the heart of the festival regardless, because it is, a prominent music venue in the city for grassroots music. Same as Polar Bear, same as O'Reilly's, same as Dive, Wrecking Ball. We have got some great little venues that support grassroots music, and it'd be great to get them more involved in what we're doing with Humber Street Sesh. And one thing I'd like to see in the next few years is try and bring that community spirit back to the festival, because we had it so much at the beginning. We sort of marked it as, I know it's tacky, but we said it was a festival for the people, by the people. And it truly was in the early years, especially when it was free. But as soon as money got involved in it and we started putting a ticket price on, everyone wanted their buck, and rightfully so, but the buck only goes so far.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where we had to take a lot on in-house and do it ourselves, rather than bringing people in from these sectors of the community to help us deliver the festival. It'd be lovely to get back to that. But again, it's always down to money.
Yeah,
indeed. Mentioning ticket prices and charging, what's happening with ticket prices this year?
Yeah, so we're, the crux of it is that we had to put the ticket prices up this year, but we've
Don't be embarrassed about it.
Yeah, no, I do, because I've always wanted it to be accessible to all. I think all the team wanted it to be a festival that is accessible to all. I've been told not to say that Hull's a low-income city, but there's no getting away from it. People are struggling right now, and especially this year as well. And so to put the ticket price up has been contentious, but at the same time, it's only a £5 on top of what it has been in the last 3 or 4 years. We haven't put the ticket price up in 3 years, and putting it up by a £5, it just goes with the rates of inflation, really. Everything's gone up. The contractors, all their costs have gone up. Band prices will go up. At a £5, I still think a festival that puts on over 100 acts across 10 stages down on Hall Marina in any other city would be worth £50 to £80.
Yeah.
So putting a ticket price at £20 early bird, which went straight away, and in 24 hours they were sold out, because we only put a limited run of them. And now we're at the £25 price, and that's going to remain until we get through a limited amount of tickets, and then it will go to the £30 ticket in July. And the reason we're doing that is trying to encourage people to get the tickets early, because with these community events, local events and that, people do leave it until the last minute. And without giving too much away, the festival comes close to £500,000 to put on. So if you think we're only getting a small amount of ticket purchases when we announce, and then it goes quiet for a few months until it gets to the final couple of weeks,
your cash flow's mad.
We're holding our nerve, and we're really struggling with the cash flow and everything. So by doing this tiered system of 20, 25, 30, we're hoping we can encourage people to buy the tickets early and save a few quid.
What about on the day?
And on the day, it'd be £35.
Right.
On the day, on the gate, if you leave.
And some people do. They look at the weather and think, right,
I think there was about 800 last year that left it until the day. And hopefully a lot of them came from out of town as well. Because, as much as we say it's a Hull, it's one of Hull's flagship festivals, this festival is for all. We want to encourage people from everywhere across the UK and abroad. You touched on it earlier with the opening announcement saying that it's regional and national acts. Well, this year we're going to have some international acts as well. So hopefully we can have some guests from further afield as well this year.
Estonian throat singers or anything?
Well, I would hope so.
Potentially.
As a minimum.
I don't know whether they do throat singing in Estonia.
It's more of a South African thing, and it's South American thing.
What we're trying to do this year, in collaboration with Hull City Council, is support the UNESCO City of Music bid.
Yeah.
And the hope is that we can put on a UNESCO music stage at the festival, where we can invite some of the best emerging grassroots musicians from the UNESCO cities from across the world. Nice. So potentially we could have acts from Australia, we could have acts from Belgium, we could have acts from Glasgow, Belfast. No, just UNESCO cities. So that
that's cool out there, definitely. That's all right, as long as we know.
But that's what we're intending to do, is to have an international flavour with the festival as well, and hopefully that will attract some international guests as well. So it's not just regional, it's national and international this year.
And it's great the way it does change every year at the festival. It's never been the same thing twice. And although it got bigger and it's now contracted a bit more, it's always still different every year. And I think, it's something I've always noticed, is what's new, what's different.
It went smaller, not through our fault. It was through
practical reasons.
It was through the A63, regeneration. Humber Street Sesh itself has gone through a huge regeneration over the last 6-7 years. We lost the scrubland on the west side, so we lost the whole of the west side. So we came back to the east side after COVID in 2022, after having a go in Queen's Gardens as well, just as a trial run. No, and our space is limited down on the marina, so that's something to think about in the future as well. Can we expand? Can we take it elsewhere?
I didn't like the west side.
Didn't you?
No, it was a bit rough.
I love the fact that we could bring a big top and...
No, the space was great.
The space was amazing.
It's where all the rough kids were hanging out. I found them threatening.
Oh, dear.
Leaning against fences and chewing gum and looking at me.
It's all that crowd that supports Spiders from Mars. And,
it's awful.
They're ruffians, aren't they?
Not for me. Not for me. Get back up your own end.
Right. I should bring a bit of order to this chaos. Mark MacPage from the Humber Street Sesh, and indeed the Weekly Sesh, is with us on this edition. Paul in Kirkella says, Mac, I love Humber Street Sesh. Why wouldn't you? It's my favourite day of the year, and I'd like to help those who might not be able to afford a ticket. Is there a pay it forward type scheme I can donate to?
Amazing.
Is there?
Is that Paul?
Paul.
Yeah, massive thanks, Paul. That's lovely of you. That's exactly what we need, really, is people helping others that can't potentially come down and enjoy the day, because we do want it for we want everyone down there to experience it. There is. So we're very grateful to Gerard Gibbons and Gerard Topless, or Jez Gibbons and Gerard Topless, who run something called Thank You. And it's a donation service. And they're sponsoring our wristbands this year. They've also set up another company helping grassroots musicians, promoters and venues called PALC, which is an abbreviation of Play One We Know. They're our wristband sponsors this year, and there's a QR code on the wristband. There's a QR code up on our website as well with instructions on how you can help other people, how you can donate to the festival, how you can put some money in on top of the ticket price to help others. So get on the website, get on humberstreetsesh.co.uk, look at the QR code and put your phone to that, and it'll lead you down the path where you can donate to the festival and help others come enjoy the day.
Excellent.
Speaking of Play One We Know, that's what he used to shout in Adelphi. I don't know if it started there, but that's what mainly Dinger used to shout out back in the late 80s, early 90s. Some indie band had come along, the Mock Turtles.
Yeah.
And play their most recent song, and then Dinger would shout, Play One We Know, just to spite him. But I had to bite my tongue at Jacko's funeral in the chapel, because after everyone sang Caravan of Love, I wanted to shout it.
Play One We Know. Brilliant.
It would either be brilliant or I'll get kicked out. I didn't risk it.
Jez Gibbons is actually one of the board members at Adelphi as well, so he's ingrained within the music community.
This from Annie in the Avenues HU5. I like this question. I'd love to be able to, not that I didn't like the other ones, just in case anybody gets offended. I'd love to be able to buy festival and band merch on the day. Will there be a merch stand? I think that's... Because there hasn't been, has there?
There has been in the past. We've been lucky enough where Warren, they helped us with a merch stand probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And we try to encourage all the bands to put merch in there as well. And then we got some T-shirts made up. I think we did it through Poor Boy Boutique, which is based on Humber Street itself. We got around about 500 T-shirts made up and everything, but then only sold around about 60, 70 on the day. So it sort of put us off then sort of doing any more. There's the potential of us, you can do like order to buy T-shirts where we might do something on the website where people can order a T-shirt, and once they've ordered, then we will get them printed.
Once you've got enough orders,
but to actually get sort of 200-300 T-shirts made up, we could be left with them, and they do cost a few pennies.
So I can understand that. I must have missed that merch store.
Yeah, we did.
I think I've been to.
I remember the Warren one. Definitely remember the Warren.
Yeah, we did. We did have Humber Street Sesh T-shirts. I think we've done it 2 or 3 times, but we've never managed to sell that many of them. So we sort of get left with egg on our face after purchasing so many. So maybe we do buy to order.
You just mentioned a business down Humber Street. This from Lucy on Springbank. Humber Street is always rammed when Sesh is on. The businesses down there must make a fortune that day. Some of them. Do they help out financially?
No, no. Some do. Well, when I say some, we have huge support from Lee Kerman and Charlotte from the Tap House, who also run Cuban Pete's and the Minerva and Baldroom, of course. They sponsor one of the stages right next door, Minerva. Obviously, they do well with the bar there and everything.
Which is a great stage.
But no, the guys at Tap House, Cuban Pete's, Baldroom and Minerva have been very supportive from day one as well. Also, Ali from Thieving Harry's, Ali Hubbard, who's part of the team from day one. She's our production manager. She's always been very supportive of us. Chinese Laundry sell wristbands for us, so they're supportive in that way. Joe Cox at Form Shop and Studio does all our design, so he's supportive that way, albeit he gets paid for what he does. But other than that, no, there's no businesses that actually put anything into the coffers. And
does that annoy you?
It's rankled us over the years that they're not as supportive as we were expecting, because when we first went down there, it was a derelict street. There was like 2 or 3 businesses down there. There was only fruit. There was the Kingston Art Gallery. There was the Museum of Club Culture.
There was piles of rubble down there.
And then there was a pop-up Thieving Harry's. And other than that, there was no businesses down there. And we put a festival down there in warehouses, some that were like riddled with asbestos in the roofs and that.
Don't tell me that now.
They've gone past the threshold for prosecution.
No, we were only using the outside spaces of those. But no, we took over that street when there was nothing going on down there. And if we've been part of that regeneration story, I'm very proud of that. It would be nice to get some support.
Presumably, you've had conversations because I go down there and I see the pop-up bars and big queues at the bars and they're selling.
It is heaving down there.
We've tried. I mean, without naming names, but we've gone into some businesses sort of early in the year, told them about plans. There's like a fruit market meeting amongst businesses, and we sometimes go there and present what we're planning and everything, and everyone's very supportive, in talk. But when it comes down to it, there's some businesses we go there and they say it's it really affects their trade. It's one of the quietest days of the year for them, and these are like restaurants with big bars.
That's nonsense.
That end up putting bars outside. They get 10 licenses for bars outside.
Everyone is busy that day. Everybody's busy.
Yeah, they expect us to put our security in place, our toilets in place, our road closures in place, and we don't get a look in.
Right. Well,
so
if you do merch, write the names of all the ones who don't cough up on the back, and I'll walk around with a t-shirt on.
No, we're making friends and influencing people.
We'd love a bit of support.
If Sesh wasn't there, they wouldn't. They do, all of them make a lot of money that day. There's no two ways about it, and they should give a little bung to Sesh to make sure it happens.
Well, that's between them, their accountant, and the tax man.
I will say though,
there's a moral obligation.
I will say though, as a venue owner, we're in hard times at the moment. It is hard. So when Humber Street Sesh does come along down on the marina, it's payday for a lot of them, and one payday can keep them going for a couple of months possibly. So
when people go to social, they go for something to eat or drink beforehand, and they go in one of the places down Fruit Market. And if social wasn't there and Sesh wasn't there, those businesses would make less money. And they need to accept that and help you out, I think. It's only fair.
I just think there's conversations to be had, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, whether it's financial, whether it's support in other ways, we'd be very grateful for it, because there is times when it feels very lonely when there's basically 3 of us, well, 4, I'd say 4 with Elise, but there's Dave, Justine and myself that sort of run this festival, and Elise helps with the sponsorship and the press. And then we've got a lot of freelancers like Dan Mower who helps with the programming, Joe Cox with the design, and Damien Greco with the marketing and everything. We've got a very small team, and sometimes it feels very lonely having this responsibility of putting on this huge festival in Hull. And
well, if you need to have a conversation with any of them, and you need 2 blokes to stand behind you looking hard, me and Dave will do that.
Hail and pace.
Yeah, absolutely. We can wear dicky bows and look threatening.
Look hard. No, we want to feel the love. We don't want it to be contentious in any way. So we've got to go about it in the right way, in the right fashion, speak to these businesses, but also speak to the authorities and speak to the community, and just try and get everyone back on side with what we're doing, because I think deep down we all believe it is a good thing for the city.
Yeah. Oh, it's a terrific thing for the city and a terrific thing for the area. Let's get to happier stuff. Emma on Beverley Road says, is there any sort of Sesh Spotify playlist or other digital music services are available so I can listen in advance to some of the bands playing the festival?
There will be. We've done it every year. There's always like a Humber Street Sesh Spotify playlist that gets released probably a few weeks before. because we've left things late this year. We're in the middle of
Would
programming.
not notice, Matt. Don't worry about it.
We're in the middle of programming now. To be fair, though, if you look at the previous years, we don't usually announce our headliners to sort of until around about March or April, so we're not too far behind.
Mm-hmm.
The full lineup at the festival doesn't usually get announced until sort of end of May, June. So we're on schedule in a way in that manner. We are being busy at the moment, programming. I'd say we've got 3 or 4 stages already fully booked, but we're not making any announcements on them now. So we won't be releasing a Spotify playlist until we actually get to the point of fully programming the festival. But one thing I will say with Spotify, we're wary of Spotify. It's a great medium for the listener, but it's not a great platform for the musician. So we're quite wary with using Spotify and giving them any credit, really.
Is there any others like Bandcamp?
Because there are some bands that won't put their music on Spotify.
Is there another one like Bandcamp or something like that do it?
Yeah, I mean, there are other platforms that we can look at, and we can do our own through our website as well.
But the problem is it's the biggest one and gives the most exposure. So that presumably you've got the balancing act.
I always think that about festivals. I saw it, I think I might have seen it at Glastonbury, is that sometimes if they don't have the merch there, the bands, they'll put up a pop-up banner with a QR code on. And it takes you to their Bandcamp page. I quite like that band. QR code, buy a T-shirt. It's the sort of thing I think bands should do more of, is make it one click away to go and buy a bit of merch or a CD.
It's a really good point, that, Dave. I think that's something that POWK, P-O-W-K, Play One We Know, I think that's something they're trying to address. They're reaching out to artists, as I say, and venues and promoters and trying to help them think outside the box a little bit more. Just like you're saying about QR codes and that, that's something that bands all should be doing. They should all be doing. Every gig, there should be a QR code at the front of the stage that someone or on the merch stand where people can find out more information about them.
Good advice. So when is the lineup announced? What day are you working to?
So we're working for the first week of June, so it's only 2-3 weeks away. So Dan Moore, if you're listening, you've got to get your finger out, son. No, we're doing well. We are doing really well. We're delighted to have BBC Introducing back on board. So we've got Jericho Keys from BBC Introducing Humberside in York. They're going to be looking after social, and their lineup's all confirmed, and we're really excited about that one. Rock stage is all confirmed. The Ballroom stage, which is replacing the Cuban Pete stage next to Minerva, same stage really, but it's called the Ballroom this year. That lineup's pretty much been completed. The acoustic stage has been completed. It's just the main stage that we're working on at the moment, and all the other bits like Residents Association.
We better round it up, this edition of the Curiosity Cast. Remind us when it is and where people can get tickets, Matt.
So, Humber Street Sesh takes place for its 14th edition on Saturday the 1st of August 2026. Tickets are available online through our website, humberstreetsesh.co.uk, but they are, I'm excited to say, going to be in our outlets this week. And all the information on where these outlets are on humberstreetsesh.co.uk. But there's some great local retailers that have helped us in the past and are helping us again. I believe Hall Libraries are going to be helping us as well. We've got Art and Soul in Beverley, in Flemingate, that will be selling our wristbands later this week. There's Beasley's, there's Chinese Laundry, there's Queen's on Queen's Road, Dias in Hessel as well. And closer to the festival, we'll probably be putting tickets in Social and also at Paragon Station as well. So, yeah, we're asking everyone to get your wristbands early this year. Save time, but also save time with the online tickets. Just go and get your wristbands direct, because then you don't have the hassle of exchanging them for wristbands to get into the festival. So go and get your wristbands direct from the outlets from the end of this week onwards.
Get it done. It's a brilliant day. Trust us. Mac's obviously been there all the way through.
It's the first one I'm missing.
Is it?
It's tragic. I'm an oldie. It's the day I come back off holiday.
I'll send you pictures of the Estonian throat singers.
we land at 6:30. I could race back from Manchester and see the last band.
Yeah. Oh, 6:30 in the evening?
Yeah.
It'd be worth it.
I know, well I might. I'm thinking about doing it.
I know a few of the headliners, and I would say it is most definitely worth it.
Do it. You can do it. We should wrap it up there. Mac, thank you very much.
Much appreciated,
for
guys.
joining us on this episode of the Curiosity Cast. Remember to keep in touch with us via curiosityhull.co.uk, or follow and friend us on the socials, where we're Curiosity Hull on all the main feeds. We'll be back very soon with more quality answers to whatever question you'd like to ask.